sharks that came from afar, that came in for the main purpose, again, on feeding upon the people.
Evidence of large sharks patrolling Hawaiian waters is not only heard in stories, but also seen in the weaponry used by the islanders. War clubs designed to disembowel enemies were made from the teeth of sharks.
Leo Mano, which is one of the more popular weapons, days of old, the hand weapon, was actually lined by the teeth of the shark. Of course, more prevalent was probably the teeth of the tiger shark. But as we know, yeah, they also use the teeth of the great white.
A word found in Hawaiian language also suggests great whites were well known to early islanders.
In my understanding, the word which we use, niuhi, generally applies to the biggest and baddest and man-eating sharks that are out there. The ones that causes the greatest amount of fear are recognized as called niuhi. And looking at my understanding of what a great white shark represents as being the biggest, baddest, and greatest predator of the ocean, I definitely feel that that word could be used to describe that shark.
Long before scientists tracked great whites across the Pacific, native Hawaiians told stories of large sharks that came from afar.
They're not just stories which are fables in a sense, or legends, but they're actually stories where our people recognize certain behaviors perhaps of sharks and entwine them into the stories. We understood that sharks came from all over and traveled throughout the Pacific and constantly moved.
There is little doubt that Hawaii has long been used as a pit stop for migrating white sharks. But what attracts them to Hawaii is still a mystery.
The neat thing is that they can actually find a place like Hawaii, which is over 2,000 miles away from the coast of California, and navigate right to the Hawaiian Islands. The one thing that makes sense to us is that the ocean has magnetic fields, and they may be able to find the magnetic fields and then come up to the Hawaiian Islands, which has a stronger magnetic base, and be able to actually detect that electrical field around the Hawaiian Islands.
Once it finds its way to Hawaiian waters, the shark may stay for several months and must find a food source to sustain it. Interestingly, the white shark's migration to Hawaii coincides with the arrival of humpback whales. Though healthy adults are too large to prey upon, a single whale, perhaps dying of natural causes, could sustain a white shark for many weeks.
They may be feeding on dead and dying humpback whales while they're migrating to Hawaii, and also occasionally they're stillborn calves and other things, and maybe that's what they're kind of falling back, like the African lion following the herds of wildebeest or something like that. Maybe they're doing the same kind of thing with a humpback whale while they're following it here to Hawaii.
Every winter, humpback whales migrate from feeding grounds in Alaska to the warm waters of Hawaii. Overlooking the Maui Channel, where the whales engage in breeding activities, the Ka'olave Island Reserve Commission, led by Ocean Resources Manager Samantha Whitcraft, conducts a census of the whales.
Humpback whale populations are increasing, not just in the reserve, but in the sanctuary and in the waters of Hawaii. That could certainly be a dinner bell for a white shark or for a large top predator.
Before whaling, humpbacks may have numbered more than 15,000. But by the mid-1960s, they dwindled to less than 1,000 animals. Now, thanks to international protection, the whales are slowly coming back. The endangered Hawaiian monk seal, another mammal making a comeback in these waters, may also be a potential prey item for great white sharks. Artifacts and stories from native Hawaiians tell us the white shark once ruled these waters, perhaps supported by a healthy population of seals and whales. But as the marine mammals declined, so did their top predator. The white sharks that were once common here may have left when the islands could no longer support them. And though great white sharks have continued to visit the islands throughout the years, only now, with the resurgence of seals and whales, have they begun to show an increasing presence.
If A white shark, a big white shark, is coming back to the waters around Kaho'olawe. Is that the kind of shark that's been missing from the ecosystem? Are those the sharks from the stories that are coming back now because of an increased prey base? It's possible. We don't know for sure, but it would be nice to think that, because a marine ecosystem is not really healthy without its top predators.
It was just gigantic.
It was humongous.
Enormous, huge bill.
That's actually when we switched to Vonage.
The service is great.
I don't see any difference with the call quality. Or I can just pick up the phone, call
As many family members as I want.
Ugh, why did I not do this earlier? I'm Laura Pruden.
And this was my last bill
before I switched to Vonage.
Sign up for Vonage World and get your first month of service free with unlimited domestic and international calls. Go to Vonage.com or call now.
My Subaru saved my life. I will never forget that.
Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
No matter what language we speak, a connection can inspire something bigger than ourselves. Every day, we open our doors and go out in the world for one reason: to make a difference. And you can too. Celebrate the world we share with a special child's ticket, now only $5. And all $5 goes to help wildlife conservation. Discover more at SeaWorldCares.com.
Brought to you in part by Honey Nut Cheerios. Be happy, be healthy.
How do you turn one box of Honey Nut Cheerios cereal into a free year supply? Be one of thousands to win free Honey Nut Cheerios for an entire year. Its great taste helps make lowering cholesterol a non-challenge. Just see specially marked boxes for details.
You're car guys, right? You sell tires too, like a tire store. You boys are great with cars. Not much on conversation, though.
Pep Boys will beat any tire deal by 5%. Guaranteed.
Pep Boys does everything.
Meg Whitman says she'll run California like her company.
Seen this attack on Meg Whitman? Who are these people? They're the unions and special interests behind Jerry Brown. They want Jerry Brown because he won't rock the boat in Sacramento. He'll be the same as he ever was. High taxes, lost jobs, big pensions for state employees. The special interests have chosen their governor. How about you?
Sir, we're picking something up.
It's Xfinity from Comcast.
We can handle this. We got more HD, right?
Xfinity has